Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're jumping into two really interesting anti-authoritarian movements.
Right. The American No Kings and the British Not My King.
Exactly. Similar names, but fundamentally opposed, aren't they?
Completely. Our mission today is sort of unpacking that difference.
Yeah, like what happens when one group protests a leader who acts like a king, and the other protests someone who actually is a king.
Let's start with the U.S. side, the No Kings movement. It's basically, well, a constitutional defense thing.
Defense? How so?
It really kicked off as a response to the second Trump presidency, starting January 2025.
Okay.
The whole point was to reinforce existing constitutional norms, to defend them.
Against what they saw as executive overreach.
Exactly. Executive overreach and kind of authoritarian tendencies or excesses. They're not trying to rewrite the rules.
They're trying to make sure the existing rules are followed.
Precisely.
And that context, it explains why it was such a massive sort of multi-partisan effort.
Right.
Defending the structure.
Yeah, and their tactics really showed that urgency.
Like the distributed protest model.
Yeah.
I saw the sources mention over, 2,500 events?
Yeah, over 2,500 and in all 50 states almost at the same time.
Wow. That sends a message. It's not just like a coastal thing.
Definitely not. And you remember the color they used?
Yeah, right.
Yellow. And that wasn't just, random or for TV.
No.
No, it was a very deliberate choice, symbolically linking the U.S. effort to global pro-democracy fights.
Ah, like Ukraine.
Ooh.
Or Hong Kong.
Exactly. Those kinds of movements. It turns a simple color choice into this bigger political statement. Kind of like saying, hey, our local fight here is part of something global.
You got it. A global democratic front.
Okay, so the U.S. movement. Defensive, broad, focused on the existing system. Let's switch gears now.
Across the pond.
Yeah, to the UK. The Not My King movement, they want the exact opposite, don't they?
Totally. They're aiming to, abolish the hereditary monarchy.
And replace it with an elected head of state. Right. Which brings up this really interesting thing the sources mentioned, the Republicans' paradox.
The Republicans' paradox. Okay, what's that?
Well, you see this steady long-term decline in support for the monarchy. Like in 2024, only 51% said it was very important.
Only 51.
But, and here's the paradox. When you ask people in a straight binary choice, keep it or ditch it,
A majority still says keep it.
yeah. So being unhappy with it doesn't automatically mean people are ready to, jump to a republic.
But hang on, isn't that maybe just a demographic thing? Like a ticking clock?
How do you mean?
Well, the sources point out this big generational split among 18 to 24-year-olds. Only 36% want to keep it, and 40% actually favor a republic.
That's true. That generational gap is stark.
So is the monarchy just sort of waiting for that generation to become the majority voters?
That's a huge question, definitely raises doubts about long-term viability, and their protest tactics kind of reflect that too.
How so?
They often frame the monarchy not just as, unfair, but as ridiculous, obsolete.
Which brings us to...
Yeah.
Okay, I saw this in the sources. The giant dinosaur puppet.
Chuck the Rex.
Chuck the Rex. It was, 15 feet tall?
Something like that. Used in protest to literally frame the monarchy as this, anachronistic fossil.
A fossil.
Yeah.
That doesn't belong in the modern world. That's quite a visual.
It really is.
Okay, so let's put these two side by side for a minute.
Right.
In the U.S., you've got this big tent coalition, lots of different people, united by basically one negative goal. Opposing a specific leader they see as acting like a king.
Right. Immediate threat, negative focus. Whereas in the UK...
It's more centralized, focused on a positive long-term goal.
Yeah.
Actual constitutional change.
Yeah.
Replacing the king.
Exactly. And that difference has big implications. The U.S. movement, huge reach, right?
Massive.
But maybe it risks falling apart once that specific leader, the perceived threat, is gone. Its success is tied to the negative.
Good point. While the UK movement, it's a slower burn.
Slower burn, much higher hurdle. Changing a constitution is hard.
Right.
But the goal itself is systemic, enduring. It needs patience, not just that immediate splash.
So the real takeaway here isn't just about, presidents versus kings. It's about power itself.
Power and maybe the changing rules for democratic dissent.
How are the rules changing?
Well, this is where the UK experience gets kind of chilling, especially around the coronation.
Arrests.
Yeah, the preemptive arrests of protest organizers. The sources specifically mention arrests for having, get this, luggage straps.
Luggage straps, like to hold banners.
Exactly. Things you'd use to secure banners. But under new public order laws, the police saw them as potential locking-on devices, tools for disruption.
So they were arrested before they could even protest, just for having straps,
Mm-hmm.
based on potential disruption.
That's the really significant part. Preemptive action based on potential.
Wow. That feels like a major shift for civil liberties.
It absolutely is. And it shows this worrying trend, right? State power being used not just against violence, but against, well, lawful dissent itself.
Based on the possibility of trouble.
Which raises some vital questions, really, for you, the listener, to think about. If an established democracy can use preemptive powers like that.
To shut down peaceful protests before it starts.
Yeah, based on just the potential for disruption. What does that actually mean for free expression going forward? Whether you're protesting a leader acting like a king or, well, an actual king.